Extra Defence personnel will be deployed as heavy rain moves into northern areas of New South Wales, triggering flood and landslide alerts. 84,000 people remain under evacuation orders and warnings. Major flooding is expected at Singleton in the Hunter Valley. Areas around Coffs Harbour, Port Macquarie and Kempsey are on high alert on the mid-north coast. And the Bureau of Meteorology is warning of dangerous and life-threatening rainfall this afternoon and this evening.
That's very much where we're expecting the focus of the rainfall to be today. Over the last 24 hours, we have seen numerous sites from Coffs Harbour down through the Manning into the Hunter district see rainfall totals above 100 millimetres, and some have seen close to 170, 180, particularly up on the northern part of the mid-north coast.
The Prime Minister and New South Wales Premier have toured flood-affected regions, announcing more financial support for those affected by the disaster. Let's go live now to Julia Bradley, who is in Windsor. Julia, how were the leaders received there?
Well, Andrew, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet today touring flood-affected areas of Sydney's northwest, and they were met with a bit of frustration from locals who were saying that more needs to be done to stop disasters like this from happening in the future. Now, they were down on the ground. They were meeting with the owner of a local charity, Hawkesbury Helping Hands, and they were trying to get a sense of how things are on the ground, surveying some of the damage that has been caused by these floodwaters. But it was one man, a Windsor local, Scott Hinks, who confronted these two leaders and asked them why they're not doing more.
This happened 3 months ago, and everyone was talking about fixing the same problem. It's all on the radio, but nothing happened. So from our point of view, like when I go back home, we've tried ringing up local government and state government. No one's going to help me clean up. Out the backyard, I've got chemical containers that have floated in. I've got wood, I've got chairs that have floated in. But I'm going to bear that responsibility and that cost. You will speak to it, you will speak to the council, and that's the problem. There's a lot of speaking happening, but this is where this time with the Hawkesbury, we're a bit over. We need action.
Now, I'm actually at the home of Scott Hinks now, the man who confronted these two leaders this morning. Scott, can you tell me why you decided to do that?
Purely and simply just to get a voice out there for the community, where we're standing in the same position that we were standing in the March-April floods, hearing the same thing from leaders again, that their hearts go out to local residents, but there is no action being done by either party to rectify these problems. And this is the fourth time that we've flooded in 18 months, and there's no action.
Talk me through the damage to your property. You were saying about 4.5 metres has gone through your backyard.
Look, the water started to come through. We got the notification on Friday that we're expecting a severe weather event. The water came through on Saturday afternoon, and I can tell you from a resident's point of view that I could nearly pinpoint when they opened Warragamba Dam, because the water came through and was rising at, I would say, about 1 metre every hour. Then the gusts of winds also came through Saturday evening and Sunday and pushed debris in, chemicals, oil slick, everything you can imagine has been pushed into our yard.
And one of the things you were telling me earlier is that you think the dam wall should be raised.
I think they need to do something. I don't think it's a one fix. I think you really need to be looking at all the options you have to rectify a reoccurring disaster, and that's what we're in. We're in disasters over and over again. Now, raising the dam wall may be a suggestion, but you're still looking at 5, 6, 7 years to get that done, and whether or not they even do that. But from a disaster point of view, we need to start with something, and from my humble opinion, that at least lowering the water when you know that there's a significant rain event coming has got to make a difference to us. I said earlier, we can tell when the dam's been released, but by God, I can tell you when the dam stops flowing as well, because the water starts receding.
What do you think of the financial support that was announced today? And you were telling me you've had issues during previous floods.
Look, $1,000, while we thank the government for doing that, will not cut much. From a local's point of view, there's probably 3/4 of us who are not going to go to work for the next couple of days. I have friends now that have a young family and have had to go and buy a generator, and $1,000 is not going to cover the cost of a generator. But it's the flow-on effect from these floods where businesses won't open up next week either. There'll be no income coming for a while. So I really don't know how that $1,000 works. I don't know how handing that out makes a difference. I'd rather see money be going in, all our emergency services that are being put to work now, put that into fixing up what's a reoccurring problem.
And insurance is a big issue too.
Insurance is an issue where you can't get insurance now, and if you had insurance for this flood, you're not guaranteed of being covered anyhow. But no, most of the residents in the street that I live in, we do not have flood insurance now.
Thanks for your time, Scott. Plenty of questions to put to our leaders. As you heard there is financial support available for flood victims for the 32 local government areas that have been declared disaster zones. But some people saying that much more needs to be done. The flood threat's certainly not over in the northwest of Sydney. Residents waiting for the floodwaters to recede. It's going to be a long wait, and even after that, there's going to be a mammoth clean-up as well.
Julia Bradley, thank you so much.